Well, hello everybody. I am at COP15 here in Montreal, and I thought I would check in and at least provide a brief overview of what a COP is and why I'm here, and share a bit of the surrounding environment in which this conference of 196 nations and over 18,000 people is taking place. In behind me, you can see Canada has a very strong role here. Obviously, it's in Montreal, where the headquarters of this particular UN convention is located. So, a lot of people here, a lot going on, a lot of negotiating, but I'll share a bit of sort of background on what I'm doing here and what's happening, and I'll try to share a bit of some of the other sights and sounds and what's going on, and I'll try to also remember to look at the camera lens while I do that. So, 1992, in Rio de Janeiro, there was an Earth Summit looking at some of the biggest challenges environmentally we were going to be facing globally over the next several decades. And out of that important meeting, known as the Earth Summit, the Rio Conventions were born, and there are three of them. One that I think is really well known, which is on climate change, and where we just had a meeting, COP27, in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt. A second one, the UN Convention on Biological Diversity, which looks at nature and protecting nature and understanding that nature is critical to human life and survival of individuals on this planet. And then the third and final convention is the United Nations Convention on Combating Desertification, so looking at halting the expanding and expansive nature of degradation that leads to complete deserts being formed. So those are the three what are called Rio Conventions. Each of them have various nations that sign on to that convention and then agree to put into action various plans, agreements, and work on the priorities that have been set as part of that convention. Canada is fortunate that we actually have the headquarters of this particular convention in Montreal. And we are right now trying to organize and negotiate the next international agreement to protect nature, called the Global Biodiversity Framework. So, pretty important meeting, and very, very important that over the next week we finally reach an international agreement that will look at why nature is being lost, that will halt the extinction of species on our planet, predicted, by the way, to be as many as 1 million species over the next 2 decades. And then, of course, look at how that protection of nature affects us as civilization. So, pretty important work. The Global Biodiversity Framework has right now 22 targets, 4 main goals that drive those targets, and we have been negotiating that over the last week already, and in fact, for some time even. Over the last 4 years to try to get an agreement struck so that we can start implementing some of the actions that have been agreed to globally. So lots left to be decided, but that's sort of a bit of an overview of what those conventions are and what this meeting is about. This is, in fact, what's called the Conference of the Parties, the COP, COP. You'll hear acronyms all over the place with this particular organization, but very important work that they're involved with, and I was honored to be able to assist some of the negotiations in a previous meeting in lead up in Geneva, Switzerland, and right now have been formally added as a member of the Canadian delegation, a non-federal employee member of that Canadian delegation, to provide advice on some of the targets that I have a bit of background in, mostly on ecological restoration, ecosystem restoration, and other ecology-based background, and some of the work that I've been involved with, where I can, assist some of the technical aspects of it. So, I've been in rooms, most of them no windows, which I find interesting. No sunlight. I'm not sure that's the best way to negotiate a nature agreement, but It is, it's been a meeting so far that's been mixed with progress and frustrating elements, but still have a week to go. Still many elements that still need to be agreed upon. Those 22 targets, lots of language still left to finalize. Certainly, I think for me, the one that's particularly of interest is Target 2, which looks at ensuring that at least 20% of all degraded ecosystems are under restoration, and that we look at some of the ways we can protect biodiversity on our planet and protect nature. Lots of effort on conserving areas and protecting them, but equally on ensuring that we're restoring ecological systems and ecosystems on our planet to achieve some of the targets. So kind of doing a bit of a circle so you get a better sense of how really big this is. And this is the pavilion level, the Canadian pavilion, as I think showed you already behind. You can see some Canada there. Behind me is the China pavilion. One of the aspects to this meeting that's a bit different than any other is that this was originally to take place in China last fall, and due to some of the ongoing challenges China has with COVID, they made a decision to move the meeting to the headquarters, and that's why it's actually in Montreal. But China has a very strong role in this meeting as they retained the leadership of this particular COP, and it's called the presidency. So China is the president of this COP, hosted in a different country, which doesn't normally happen. So they have their own pavilion there. They've had receptions. Various environmental organizations are here trying to support efforts, sessions on ensuring science and different aspects of ecosystems and ecology are being certainly looked at and understood, and that we're continuing to learn from one another. So that's this level. There's the main plenary hall, which I will do some more, filming in and give you a better sense of. Our Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, was there to open this meeting last, it was Tuesday evening, along with Antonio Guterres, the Secretary General of the United Nations, the Quebec Premier, Legault was here as well, and our Federal Minister of the Environment, Stephen Guilbeault, has been here throughout the meeting. So I just wanted to give that overview. It's been something I wanted to do about a week ago. I have been more busy than I thought I would be, and I guess that's why I'm here, is not to wander around. But that's my kind of introductory report to you all back there. I've got a couple of individuals I'd love to be able to interview and have them share their perspective on this meeting, because they are grads of Niagara College. And one of them is Kelsey Warboys, who is a grad of the Ecosystem Restoration Program from 2016. So she's super busy negotiating Target 12 on urban green spaces, and so I don't want to pester her too much, but she has agreed that if she's got 5 minutes, she may answer a couple of questions just to give you guys a better sense of her journey of Niagara College program to an international policy person. So that's one person. The other person is Keith McCallum, who I just ran into, who's been working directly with the Society for Ecological Restoration, assisting in some of the international policy work that's happening here. So I thought he as well could share some of his background and experience and a bit more on how he ended up where he did, because I know you're all coming to the end of your semester. You've got one more to go. Some of you are in your second year, your first year. So I think it's always good to hear from individuals that have been in your place and have gone through what you're going through right now, which is probably final term reports and exams and all kinds of stuff that's not easy and stressful. And I think the good news is that you're learning stuff that's important, and there are going to be very much careers that are needed to certainly with this agreement, to do the important work that has to get done. After we agree to something, we got to actually enact it, and that needs people that have your skills and your experiences that I know that at Niagara College we're providing. So that's my quick 10-minute summary. Just one last look around. Look at the lens. I hope I'm making good eye contact with the lens. And I will do another one of these in some of the various levels and give you a sense of what's going on. So bye for now. Bye from Montreal.